Hey, welcome back to this video on how AI is changing the way we live, work, and play. This is part of Module 1, Overview of Artificial Intelligence. So in this video, I want to show you a couple of examples of, how AI and all the branches under AI like machine learning, computer vision have been making impact in our lives. The way we use the applications on mobile, the way we do the work, the way we, engage in some kind of fun activity, all that has been impacted by AI. Now, all the examples that I'm going to show you doesn't include any of the recent, ChatGPT or LLM based use cases that are coming out, right? And they are really, really impactful. But we are gonna reserve that for a future week where we are talking about generative AI and LLM. And in the class, we will bring those use cases. But here, I want to focus on everything minus the LLM, okay? So the first example I want to show you is this, right? So if you have an iPhone and or even a Google phone and you are using your image, face image to unlock the phone, that's AI, right? That's computer vision, right? So if you think what happened is when you buy this phone and you go on to create this type of control, right? You basically give a 360-degree view of your face, and then there's an algorithm that every time you show your face to the camera, kind of try to predict that is this the same person as the one that I have in record, right? And given it is greater than X%, it unlocks the phone, otherwise it doesn't, right? And that is the reason, you can change your hairstyle or wear glasses or, grow your beard. It will still unlock the phone, right? Because it's not hard-coded to the image. Imagine if they just hard-coded to an image. That means you have to look the same every single day. Otherwise, your phone will not unlock, right? So this is computer vision, not very advanced though, but still it's computer vision. Okay, so this is the heading is wrong here, face recognition. This is supposed to say social media. But really, any social media, right? Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, right? All these, Twitter, all these, the content that you see on your social media, right? That's also customized to you based on your engagement in past, both based on your interests, maybe sometimes based on your age and other demographics, right? These are like recommendation engines. So not just the content, but the ads that you see, right? That is also a recommendation system, right? Which is kind of showing ads to you where it thinks the likelihood of you clicking the ad is very high, right? If you get friends recommendation, that's also a recommendation engine. That's machine learning. Content translation. So if you post something, let's say, you post something in English, right? And then a lot of people, and we're talking about LinkedIn, right? And sometimes people would come and maybe comment in a different language, which is not English. You would immediately see a C translation button, right? And when you click on that, the comments get translated to English, which is, which is also very accurate as well, right? So that's also machine learning / deep learning. Hate speech detection. So if you try to post something stupid on social media, you would realize that it automatically either doesn't post it or deletes it, and then you get a notification that you have violated our policy XYZ, right? So historically, there were a lot of humans hired by Facebook. I think 10,000 people team whose job was to just read the post on Facebook all day and decide whether the post is hate speech or not. And if it's hate speech, they take it down. Over time, they have trained algorithms to do that, right? So they don't need 10,000 humans now. And as of last year, the statistics were more than 85% of the posts that are classified as hate speech or taken down from the platform, more than 85% of that is done by an AI algorithm, not a human, right? So there are still some humans doing that, obviously in all these companies, but a good chunk is done by algorithm. Okay. If you ever wonder why all these emails where you sometimes win $100 million or somebody wants to transfer you $100 million, they don't land into your inbox, because behind the scene there is a machine learning algorithm that looks at the metadata of your email and maybe email and decides whether it's a spam or not, right? And we will talk about this use case. There is actually a lab for this use case in one of the weeks later in the course. All the digital assistants that you use, whether it's Alexa, Siri, it has AI, right? AI in a sense that when you say something to them, the first process is that voice has to get converted in the text, right? So for example, if you ask what's the weather today in Toronto, Alexa would listen to it, right? And would translate into text, follow the instruction, go find the weather, and then it at the end do the reverse, which is text to speech, because it answers you, okay, the weather in Toronto is XYZ, right? So that's also natural language processing, part of AI. Recommendation engines. We are surrounded by recommendation engines, right? If Amazon doesn't has a recommendation engine or doesn't customize the catalog by user, you won't be able to see, all the items, right? Because they cannot create a browse index or category index, because there would be millions, hundreds of millions of SKUs, right? And e-commerce giant like Amazon has this problem of long tail, where they would have 5% of these SKUs that are selling the most and 95% of the SKUs that are selling very, very less, right? Sometimes you have a SKU that sells once every 6 months, right? That big of a long tail, how do you then do the user experience of that, right? Because user would just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, right? So the point is, recommendation engine is not just nice to have, you must have this, right? Another fact I tell you, Netflix, right? There's a statistics that says 90%, more than 90% of the shows that are watched on Netflix is decided by Netflix recommendation engine. Ask yourself, when is the last time you went to Netflix to search for a movie or a show? Most of the time, you just see what Netflix shows you. That's a recommendation engine. That's machine learning, right? YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, right? The jobs that you see on LinkedIn, that's also a recommendation engine, right? There is a recommendation engine behind the scene, right? And in the business context, recommendation engine, think it like it acts as a filter in a way, right? Okay. If you use Zoom and you're able to set the virtual background, right? You see this is pretty good quality. It can segregate the person in the background, right? And if you can do that, then you can replace background with anything. In this case, this is a beautiful background, right? How does that happen? That's machine learning, clustering, right? Clustering would segment the objects in an image using their pixels, right? So that's machine learning. Auto completion, right? So if you're typing an email and it provides you this auto complete when you say when is and a good time for you showed up, right? That's also AI, and ChatGPT in a way is a more grande version of this, right? So that's it for this video. I thank you so much for watching.